line. Hey, the radio, big crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Hey, the radio, big crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing.
With the ButtKicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. ButtKicker, the future is feeling.
And for the final time this season, race fans, this is the big main event. The championship is on the line for 4 of the best drivers. But for these drivers at hand, winning is all that matters now. Hi again, everyone. I am Crusader Crystal Shire, joining you guys here today as we get ready for the final race of the season. We've got 13 top throwing drivers ready to get down to business, get down to action here on the show. And we start them up with on the pole the number 87 of Brad Ward, and the outside of them in the 96, that's Brandon Sheffield. Row number 2 is the 86 of Jason Action Jackson. The outside of them in the number 5 is Luke Duran. At row number 3, it is Andrew Griezmann with the 78. Outside of them in the 9, it's Lawrence Shaughnessy Jr. Row number 4 is Alan Wilson, the 3rd in the 79. Outside of them in the 92 is Spencer Clark. Row number 5 is Brian Beetrager, the number 6 outside of them in the 85. That's Davis Shively. Row number 6 is a 21 Daryl Whitford, the outside of them, and then 17, it is going to be Kevin Whitford, final starter in the 75, Wild Bill Matthews. Emotions running high right now. Ready to get at it here on the track, race fans. It's time to get down to it. It's time to get to the action. Let this one commence and let this one take your breath away. Off at corner number 4, 140 laps to the distance. We're off and running at Phoenix. Edward Kane saying, let's go, Brand Sheffield. Nick Bratt saying, good luck, Team GDR. Bring home both championships. Title is on the line here. We'll get these drivers what it's worth and set them on their way down to the first set of corners. Brad Ward going to take early advantage here as he is your race leader. Brand Sheffield trying to get right up to him, though, and ahead. Kevin Whitford, a little bit of problems down there. Got sent back into the outhouse for just a little bit. He'll have to try to regain some speed. Down at the level ends here at the playing field here. Drivers are currently just trying to keep themselves out of trouble and out of bad situations at the moment. Going into the night, Derek Whitford, Luke Duran, Brandon Sheffield, Brian Traeger were your top 4 going for the title. Derek Whitford, unfortunately, not able to make the call. Derek was unfortunately not able to come out tonight and race for the title, so that will unfortunately put him in the 4th place position when all is said and done. Though for the other 3, Duran, Sheffield, and Traeger, there's only one thing on the line right now, and that's just focusing on taking control of this race. Duran right now currently moving in the 3rd by starting from 4th. Traeger is 2 spots up in 7th. Some hard charge and some hard racing from everybody in the field, kind of mixing and matching their way around. On board camera here, the number 82, Spencer Clark. Coming right back through there. Traeger gonna get a little run right off of Alan Wilson, the 79, trying to find an opening or a way to pass. Oh, a little bit of contact made there as well. The 92, Spencer Clark getting some from the 85 of David Shively. Shively not exactly giving him much room or any chance here. Sheffield right now taking the race lead away from Brad Ward. Teammates in their own little work around here. They're going to be helping each other out as much as they can, trying to keep every driver in their condition and position as much as they can to here today. With 10 of 140 laps so far now completed. Things are looking pretty solid out of the start here and pretty good here for that 96 and the 87 team. But it is early, and that's where pit strategy really could come back to haunt them. Looped around right now, looking to do that and then some. Alan Wilson currently just ahead of one of the championship 4, in this case 3 anyway, that have been able to make it in. As right now he holds Brian Trigger back just a little bit. The 6 has been kind of looking to get the 4's power underneath them, just like we saw earlier today in the actual real world. The Mustangs were the strongest of the contenders. Brad Ward also driving a Mustang, so is Jason Jackson. And Grander Griesbaum with David Shipley still in this as well. Currently, while Bill Matthews out of this, Kevin Whitford out as well for the moment. We'll have to see if they can be able to come back out on the track here as the field just kind of separates out further as they go, starting to get a little bit more stretched into the positions into the playing field. I think this is something you're going to see a lot of too, is a lot of these harder corners really tearing these drivers up a little bit more than often than not. There's a lot of corners here where you just get a little too tired, a little too off the hands there and off the wheel. You'd be tearing your tires up more than you go through, and it starts to get any tighter or it gets more tricky to handle. Then that's where you really don't want to end up being at, because that's what's going to end up costing you the most amount of time and the most amount of control, especially when you get later in. Side Motorsports right now currently trying to roll their way on around and get back to the teammates and work together. Luke Duran and Lawrence Naneshi Jr. currently separated between only the 86 of Jason Jackson, and Jackson not making it too easy on Duran here, making good use and good progress of the field and the track. Duran right now doing a great job, just kind of focusing on his line, focusing on his drive. Those guys have done an absolutely tremendous job, really staying focused time and time again on only hitting their spots, hitting their marks, and taking control of their own racing habits and their own racing needs. But definitely know and understand the overall progression of the speeds and the run at hand. Jackson's still trying to get right up there with him. Maybe just trying to get more speed and position, also at the same time to help out the teammates of Ward and Sheffield. I think Duran and Shaughnessy Jr. feel like they're kind of in a bit of a 1-2 punch here. And Ward and Sheffield feel like they have kind of locked themselves together. Field mileage definitely going to be a bit troublesome and indicative here on this track, and we'll take a look at our track tech talk presented by the ButtKicker company. This is what these drivers are facing up against today. And talk about hard charging, and talk about having to find openings, and you can't open dog leg on this track here, which means that inside line, as soon as you come off of turn 4, is wide open for your own advantage. It shortens down the track. However, what it also does is it will rip your car a new one. If you're not careful, you've got to be focused and adamant on when you take that turn and when you hit that corner, if you want any chance to survive and not lose ground in positions. field starting to separate out further to go. Spencer Clark still dealing with the little trouble that he got through earlier on with David Shipley, the 85. The Pennzoil Shell Machine kind of rocketing. It's getting very eerie to the guy that won home the title today earlier on this track here. Congratulations again to Joey Logano on the championship, winning his second one of his career. Did it by driving his way through the field and driving his way through the actual speeds and pretty much led this entire race from start to finish, leaving nothing on the table. And the same can be said for a lot of these other guys here right now, trying to leave nothing out on the track, only looking for the speeds and the performance here. Drager seeming awfully focused right now, really kind of hitting point on his accuracy, trying to hit his line up to get to the number 9, Lawrence Shaughnessy Jr. But yeah, it's not quite gripped it as much or as hard as I thought he may in this case. This being only about a mile long in length here too. Phoenix Raceway is going to be no easy task or feat to outrun or outmaneuver. You still got a lot of areas that can go right, that can go wrong. Only timing and execution will be the winner of this race. More and more like we're just going to have a little bit of a pit stop drive off here, because it seems like Sheffield and Ward have kind of gotten the idea and the picture of what they wanted to do and got the best position they wanted to bring to the table. And I think it's about time we go on board here with old Sheffield. Let's take a look in and show why exactly he's getting such a good run here. There are 6 parts that come here at Phoenix. The first part is you're shifting, you're cornering into the corners. So the first 2 parts are pretty simple. Then come the hardest parts, which is the the 4 turns and that dog leg. The dog leg and turn number 1, easy to manage and handle, but very easy to also mess up on. Notice though how he drives through the turns and how he initiates right to the yellow line, keeping it nice and tight, but only lifting when the spot is needed and when he needs to brake to then get back on the gas. The RPM is running so high and it's executed perfectly. This allows Sheffield to make the moves and make the spots up when he absolutely has to, making for some tremendous moving around. Man, Sheffield getting a much good drive. Oh, whoa, hold on a minute. Brad Ward, whoa. Trouble down there for the number 87 driver. Something going massively wrong there, and that now slows him up big time on the pace. Looked like he might have lost it off of the dog leg there into the corner before entering into turn number 1. Let's take a look at the PTM replay and see what went wrong here. Presented by the ButtKicker Company. Here is your close-up look at this one. Brad looked like he had a good ride coming there. Came off turn 4, looks okay, everything looks good. Ooh, yikes. Remember what I said earlier about taking it easy and making sure you had the line dialed in? That is not the case. Ward loses his position and gives the run to Luke Duran. Now Duran will have to see if he can capitalize on it, as currently Brian P. Traeger moves ahead of Brad Ward here. Yeah, Ward right now, I gotta believe, probably not a happy camper losing that position up and now making it a little harder on his teammate, having to figure out how to take these guys down a few notches. That will make things a lot more difficult. You can hear too, you can see he is struggling. Something is not going right there with Ward when he comes off that corner. I'm not sure if he's missing his shift and he's getting the gas way too hard, or if he's just not able to get the car to stick. Either way, something flustering and making it much more difficult. You see him just kind of steering it off and then trying to steer it back around. Take a look at the lap time right now between him and Durant here. Sheffield has got a pretty good run around, but Durant is starting to catch his number here. Sheffield was taking it extremely conservatively, I would think, but now it looks like even he is struggling a bit. Slams the wall just a little bit coming into turn number 3. Takes to the bottom side here. Let's see what happens in corner 4. Good drive off there. Much better than he was in turn 3's entry at exit. Duran, though, not able to capitalize, surprisingly. Might be slowed up a little bit, and the pace kind of a little bit off the charge here, and he's just trying to work his way around David Shively, Spencer Clark right now as well. Gotta just go in their own little way, just kind of doing their own little thing. And the number 32 heads down into, the 92, excuse me, heads down to pit road. So that will be putting Spencer Clark now into the mix-up. Just about 100 laps left in this race. Traeger is right now staying in with this group, and I'm pretty impressed right now that 6 actually going 4 spots up, considering where he had to qualify at and where he got stuck into. He's not going to give in that easily. He knows he's all on his own, and he's looking to try to hang on. Brandon Sheffield here currently still in the front runner spot. Gets right up ahead of Darrell Whitford, the number 21. Whitford just kind of slowed down into a corner, back into a pace, and now he's kind of just hanging in there. Doesn't have a whole lot of speed, it looks like, or a whole lot of control over what he's trying to get done. So it looks like the car is just going to work with what it's got. So pit stops now being made up here as well. The driver's currently in a bit of a hot shoot trying to find the right place and time. Brandon Sheffield, Jason Jackson, Brad Ward have entered in to the pit stop zone. Making things just a little bit more interesting here as we continue to get further into this race. Alan Wilson right now moving into the third spot. Traeger has now gone into pit road. Lawrence Shaughnessy Jr. trying to get there with his teammate Brad Duran right now. And the 5 Duran now also heading into pit road, trying to make sure he can get as much of a chance here. He's got to be careful about those brakes, though. It's one thing to get into pit road quickly. It's another to actually make good use of it. About 90 laps remaining here on the show. Shaughnessy Jr. is going to be our new leader here, so we have another drive off here as currently Sheffield getting his lap back. And also now trying to deal with the added pressure here with Brad Ward currently trying to get around the 9 of Shaughnessy. So Sheffield and Ward pretty much kind of back into grasp with each other here. And Andrew Griesbaum now heads into pit road, which will give the opportunity for Shaughnessy to get back out, but not enough time. Brandon Sheffield is now taking full control of this race. Jackson and Brad Ward here looking like they could have been some contenders here as well, making some great drives off. The other two championship drivers, Duran and Traeger, currently between those two, about 2.5 second difference, although that's starting to minimize with Traeger's drive here to Duran. Duran right now, Duran currently looking to try to stay ahead of position and of the controls. Look at this here, the 96 Sheffield got a huge lead, and his two comrades, Jason Action Jackson and Brad Ward, have now coincided together. This is looking more and more like a good showing here for that crew and that team of as those high side guys right now currently trying to find a way to get back to them and back into this fight. But Team GDR seem to have a good idea and a good grasp on what they're looking for and what they're after. Sheffield right now currently in the way of some of these other drivers here, currently either a lap down or trying to get back on the lead lap. Here at Whitford though, number 21 right now looking to try to challenge him for that top 10 spot here. We go on board here with Whitford. Derek sadly not able to make it today here to the race, and in turn, sadly gonna unfortunately just be kind of in the fourth place position points, not able to go for the title here. But we do hope we will be able to see him next season. We hope we see everybody next season as well. Coming back here on the PTM Racing TV. We've always loved having the chicken bake guys coming around here when they come time for their race season, their championship hopes. John Essie Jr. right now in High Side Motorsports currently starting to crisscross and make his way through the packs, through the field. Getting some good runs off here, trying to hunt down to help out his teammate. Alan Wilson also currently being a little bit of a thorn here for Traeger here, or actually, excuse me, Andrew Griesbaum in that 78 here. As the Purina machine currently is ahead of that number 6. Traeger trying to stay with him. Traeger right now currently 4 spots ahead. Sorry, 9th currently in 5th here. He's trying to just stay with it. But again, right now it's looking like more and more this could be a very difficult task because Sheffield is not letting off on anybody. He is not giving anybody any breathing room. He's keeping that foot on the gas pedal and just making sure that his foot is on the snake's neck. See the push and the power these guys are bringing to the table. Again, so much momentum used at where it needs to and really coming with what they can do as well, but it's getting more and more difficult. Tire wear really does take a factor here on these next gen cup cars, and again with a track like this you got the extreme high temperatures, the heat from the track, you got the temperatures rising throughout the day, and that sun too, when it starts to really glare in and starts to become a factor, that's when things could really be punishing and really challenge them up. Jason Jackson currently just keeping a good distance there between him and Brad Ward. Sheffield's still 8 seconds ahead right now and looking more like possibly the absolute favorites for this one. We are halfway done with this race. Rick Duran rooting on that 5 though. Luke is not giving up. The 5 is leaning in and keeping close distance to the proximity. He's in the 4 spots where he qualified at. And he's looking to possibly be able to bring this one just a little higher up. Brad Ward now looks like he is starting to fade, and Duran looking to capitalize. He's going to have to do it sooner rather than later. He knows what's at stake, and he knows how far he is starting to get away. He's going to have to probably rely on pit strategies because these cautions are not going to really give him any hope. Slight bob off of turn number 2. Now to the inside. And Duran has got the drive off now, looking for the opening. He's got to drive off. Ward trying to hold it down. Scrapes the wall off of 4. And another position has been shaken from the number 5. Duran right now is looking absolutely ridiculously strong here. Starting to figure it out, starting to get a bigger grip of these tracks, starting to get a bigger grasp on the race. Field down dealing with lap traffic as well here, and a whole host of mixtures and mistakes here being made. Spencer Clark trying to stay out of the way there of the field as the 78 of Andrew Griesbaum and the 6 of Brian P. Checker move their way to the chains. By the way, thank you to Nick Barassi, Edward Kane, and Rick Duran for coming on board today. We appreciate the support here today, guys. Also to everyone that is watching right now as well. First off, thanks so much for coming on board. Second, if you like the show and you enjoy the channel, be sure to subscribe here on PTM Racing TV. Every subscriber helps our channel grow and prosper, and we're trying to get as big and better as we can. We are looking into getting a few new things added on and maybe some different things done too. But it all just takes time, and with your little support, we can get it done together. Ward, though, heads into pit road. We now have drivers heading back in and out of pit roads here. Looks like Griesbaum not exactly giving him much of a chance for some breaks here, kind of making things a little more difficult on him. Brad Ward right now looks like there are some problems down there for the number 87 camp, so I think he may be out of this race, which means there's only 2 drivers right now in that GDR category, and Sheffield is the leader of them. Jackson, the only other one that's with him in this case. Maybe looking for a little bit of help, a little bit of a drive here for this race here. Any kind of drafting kind of looks, your fuel mileage you can push into these cars and more control does help out for that long haul. I can tell you that much. I've done it before on this track. And Spencer Carr going to go into pit road here, so now that will send the field back in. Jackson now going through, trying to hang on. Company coming up ahead though. Duran just kind of snuck right by us. They're actually stuck underneath. We didn't even see them. They're coming through. High Slide Motorsports making some great progress here. And the 5 is not out of this one yet. It moves into second. Now has a possible chance, but needs to get the Sheffield if he can. A little bit of a battle now coming through the field here out of the 13 pack. Certainly we still have 11 drivers currently on the race end, but 10 are on the track. Darrell Whitford going head to head here against David Shively in the 85 here. Shively trying to keep him behind him if at all possible. Looking for some openings or so when they can. Shively to me looks like the rear end could be sliding out just a little bit in the corners and making things just a little bit more difficult to hold on to. Woodford trying to take advantage of it, but it seems though not getting as much of a run or any momentum off to really mash up on the gas and get their right rear wet on it. Interesting to see this as well here. You see the actual strategy and the setup that Traeger has gone with. Not going into a shift down into 5th gear strategy. He's actually staying in the 4th gear strategy, and I'm kind of interested to know really where he's seeing that kind of come into existence. I think a lot of guys really kind of focus on shifting in, shifting out to gain most maximum amount of treasure and speed. Traeger going a completely different strategy though, and it looks like it is somewhat working to its own extent, but unfortunately doesn't get him much more on the power level on the speeds here. Sheffield still leading it down. And let's take a look at our lap time difference here, and you can see it has not been a very good time for Sheffield in terms of keeping Duran behind him. He has been dealing with lap traffic while at the same time dealing with the pressure on him and this crew. And now there's starting to become a 1/10 of a second gap difference between them. Oh, Shively. Oh, whoa. Shively losing in the corner. Lost it down in turn number 1 and 2. He was going to go for pit road. No caution, though. They will stay green, and they're going to keep it going. My word, that could have been absolutely disastrous, though, for the drivers that had a fuel strategy and a pit strategy set in motion. And I think Duran is kind of keeping close an eye on it. So now Sheffield is going to head into pit road here. Or Jackson, excuse me. Sheffield has already engaged his pit stop here. Traeger is going to be our new leader. Luke Duran has also gone into pit road. So very different strategies, differing spots. It's looking more and more like this could go down to the wire here. They need to make at least this pit stop to work, though, because this is their last one really they're going to get, in my opinion. Traeger looks like he's going to head to pit road as well here. Yep, saw him like cave it down. He was ready to pit it in. He's going to go in quickly. Alan Wilson now will go for the lead here. Sheffield, well, Sheffield saying to heck with that. I'm getting ahead of him. Did not let Wilson breathe 1 inch or one little bit. Just pretty much took it from him right off the gate. Traeger moved in the mix, and now Sheffield has got the lead again. Duran about still 9.5 seconds back. It looked like he had momentum gaining off later in the run, but by the time it was time to go in for the kill, it was already too little too late because they were already in pit road. Duran now and Sheffield, 40 laps remain. Wilson in the middle of those two right now, separating out the championship hopefuls. Traeger going in really later than everybody else here in terms of the pit strategy. That could be a game changer, could be a bit of a help here. Let's take a look at the pit stop links here. Wilson going 50 laps so far here. That's kind of been his go-to. He'll head back into pit road here in a minute, I bet you. But you look at how many laps Sheffield has been throwing down currently, what he's been up to. This is pretty much a winning strategy and a formula. Traeger, I think, honestly, was trying to save for a much more speedy little shot out of the dark. But I don't think it's really going to work out the way he's looking for here as he gets right now with Sean Essie Jr. Lawrence Shaughnessy Jr. here in the number 9 currently, blocking Traeger just a little bit, probably trying to help out Durant a little bit more to not allow them to get up to him so quickly. Traeger, though, going up top, nowhere to go, and set back around. Sheffield has got only 34 laps remaining now. He is currently in the driver's seat. He is making his way around this track, no troubles at all. Luke Duran, though, not out of the gate yet. He's not done. He's probably thinking to himself, though, right now, is just a little bit of doubt. Is he able to keep up with Sheffield? Is he able to kind of keep the speed alive? That's a question he's going to have to answer himself here, because right now he's still a good distance away here in terms of scope and position. Jackson pretty much been kind of hang around and see what happens kind of guy, and just at the same time he's also been focusing in on taking care of himself and taking care of the rest of the field here and what he's doing. I think a lot of that has made his strategies kind of more pinpoint accurate and pinpoint on shot, but at the same token does make it a little bit more difficult to really hammer down the track. Al Wilson currently 2.5 seconds ahead of Andrew Griesbaum here. Griesbaum currently dealing with a little bit of pressure here from that number 85 of David Shively here. Shively trying to get his laps back. At this point, probably kind of giving out and kind of giving up. At this point, doesn't really know what else he can do or where else he can really bring it to. Yeah, gap right now not looking good between Sheffield and Durant. If you're in the Durant camp, good if you're on the Sheffield camp. Sheffield's been able to keep him by for quite some time. Hasn't left it, hasn't let off, and he's been making it much more difficult on him to catch him. Traeger trying to get in towards Jackson, maybe trying to get a little bit more speed built up as well. Action Jackson, really, in my opinion, he's had a bit of a mix and match of seasons. He's had a mix and match of racing. Traeger himself also, he's been kind of staying consistent, kind of staying really on his shots here. Traeger has caught up there to Jackson. Jason knows he's being hunted down here by Traeger. And I think honestly if that 6 can get around that 86 here, I think there might be a chance. I mean a very slim chance, but there might be a chance he can really start to reel it in just a little bit more and put up a fight. Sheffield, though, I think probably at this point is starting to get a little too comfortable. He's starting to get a little bit more where he wants to be, and if he gets too comfortable here, I feel like these guys need to start then pushing the pressure on him to try to get his attention, try to get him well aware of the scope and the situation at hand. Does not seem to be the case, though. Durant is still right in the mix-up here. Jackson behind Durant here as Traeger is looking to keep up with the pace, keep up with the position. Traeger getting ahead of Jackson. Jackson really now making control of this race with 21 laps left. Traeger absolutely impressive on the charging level and on the speed levels, but he just needs just that little bit extra time, maybe an extra chance. And I think he could make Sheffield and Durant maybe think about this one just a little bit more. But the top 3 that came in for the final 4 are now 1, 2, 3 respectively. Brad Sheffield's so smooth through the corners, most smooth through the turns and the exits, the entries, no troubles. right now, I'd say, if anything, this is starting to look more like Sheffield's got this locked up. I said earlier he was getting pretty comfortable, getting pretty set to go. I think right now with that strategy he put up and that spot he got himself into, that kind of was exactly what he was hoping for and what he was wanting to bring to the table. And I think this is probably the best position, the best chance he was going to have in this entire day. Well, went from about 10.5 to about 11, then now to about 11 and a half to now 12 and a half nearly, just in a matter of about 20 laps or so. Sheffield is starting to put on the burners. He's starting to put on the speed, and this is exactly what I think Duran and Traeger were nervous and a little scared about. And Traeger is actually making a great comeback here to Duran. He's actually closed the gap off on him. Gap between the two has separated out by a bit of a margin here, so somebody's looking for that second spot, and maybe possibly if there's any luck, any hope, or any chance, Sheffield makes the big mistake the size of Texas. I don't think they're going to get any opportunity to try to win the race out, so they're just going to try to beat each other up. Gap is truly starting to lay loose and lay low. And it's just getting more and more like Duran and Traeger are going to go at it here for that second spot. Next time around, Sheffield getting 10 laps to go. Tires seem to be holding up, and the fuel run is definitely there. Everybody else seems to have kind of put themselves into this spot, in this bit of a pickle, if you will, with the top 5 only on the lead lap. Top 5 are on your screen now with 10 laps remaining. Full 13 seconds now between first and second. This is just getting harder and harder for the two to understand and accept. But he knows it's pretty much kind of been put into their ball court, into this position. Now 7 down to go. This season has been full of highs, some lows on some drivers' ends, but at the same time it's been quite a ride and quite a time to say the least. 6 laps remain. Look at Duran though and Traeger right now going back and forth with one another here. Duran is starting to give Traeger another opening or two, another chance at maybe taking this ahead. Duran, Traeger, man, these guys did what they had to. They had 2 completely differing strategies. They had 2 different ideals. Their teammates really working with them, kind of helping them out when they had to, and giving them a chance and giving them an opportunity to make or break this race. Unfortunately, I don't think there was anything that was going to stop Sheffield from just completely taking full control of it. Three laps left remain. GDR looks like they have figured it all out. Sheffield has done everything he needed to, everything he had to. And pressure was all on him to do good and clean this one out. He did not disappoint. Letting it back in. 2 laps remain. Sheffield going to deal with a little bit of lap traffic. Just has to stay out of trouble. Wilson knows it too. This is what they all wanted to see. This is what Sheffield's after. White flag is high in the air. Sheffield just 1 more to go. It's been a long, hard fought, drag out, knock it down kind of season. But for the 96, Brandon Sheffield, him and his team, hold the troop hour of some Caden Strong, and they are going to bring it home to victory lane today off of turn 4. The championship belongs to Sheffield. Duran will hold out Traeger for a second. And Traeger will get his 3rd spot. But the championship was all that mattered to these boys today. And this one's going to go to the 96. Brandon Sheffield is your season title champion holder today. And he, with all his crew and his team and his guys, worked hard for this one and managed to hang on to claim it all. And that is about as clean of a fight and as clean of a green flag race you can be had. And he had to do it all throughout to the very, very end. Incredible. Well, we'll talk to the top 3 in just a moment, but here is your top finishers for today. Finishing it out, Sheffield taking the title home. Duran going 2nd, 3rd to Traeger. 4th to Jason Jackson. 5th to Lawrence Shanessi Jr. 6th to Alan Wilson. Andrew Griesbaum goes 7th. 8th to Spencer Clark. Darrell Woodford goes 9th. 10th to David Shively. Rounding out the top 10. And with that, now only one thing remains. It's time to listen in to the drivers, and it's time to listen in to our final positioners. Do not see Traeger with us here, so we'll go ahead and give him the top 3 spot there. But we do know the second place driver here today, Luke Duran, is ready to talk with us here. So we'll go ahead and bring him on into the show here.
Too bad we didn't have.
Alright. Can't quite get them in here right now, so hold on a moment. Yeah, Duran, we got you?
Oh, I got you.
Alright, Duran, Land, congratulations on the second place finish here today here as you come away here after a hard fought battle. I know this wasn't quite the position you were aiming for, but still to be second overall in the championship, not a bad idea here for what you've been through this season.
Yeah, man, I'll take it. It feels good to finish second, especially when you lose to the best guy all year, so it's all good.
Yeah, you definitely had a little bit of a ride there from the later half there between you and Traeger. I mean, do you kind of get a little nervous that he was kind of ready to bring the pressure onto you there at the end?
Well, I think he pitted a few laps after me, so he had better tires, but I knew it would even out eventually. I just didn't know if it would even out once he got to me or once he passed me, but once he got about a second behind me, it evened out, and I was able to hold him off.
Certainly indeed. Well, nevertheless, though, Duran, as you come away here today with the second place finish, who do you want to thank you for it all?
I like the guys that like to thank the guys that put on this league, everybody watching, the few guys that showed up tonight, and Highside Motorsports for all they do for me.
Absolutely indeed. All right. Well, Duran, congratulations on the second place finish here today. Well earned and deserved.
Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, Luke Duran coming away here second. The man that pops away with the victory today, though, he now joins us as well off of Victory Lane Trip Zone. It is the 96 Brent Sheffield. And Sheffield, how about that, man? A long, hard fought drive and season, but you come away with the victory.
You know, I wanted to come talk to you after a win, and it took me the whole season to get here. But I mean, great race, great season. Hats off to the GDR guys. I lost a nephew 3 weeks ago to cancer, so this one goes out to him. You know, you saw the Caden Strong on the car. All my teammates ran it, so it feels good to get him one. Feels good to close out the season this way, man. A lot of people to thank. The GDR boys. So Brad, Ed, Nick, Jason, they all did a ton of work for this. Setup wise and everything else. So we all had to learn this car and how to set it up, and I think we did a pretty good job at that. And it showed tonight. I mean, we were able to. I knew with a short field we were probably going to go green for quite a while there, and we're kind of able to just go out and put the shoes to them, which is always a good feeling.
Certainly is indeed. I know this was obviously a lot of hard work, hard racing here, and obviously you've represented that Caden Strong all season long. Do you think that was the strength you needed to finalize and finish this championship out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted, so that happened the week of Vegas. That's why I missed Vegas. And so then we came back from Martinsville, and I wanted to win that race really bad, and didn't play my fuel strategy right and wasn't able to win that one for him. So to be able to get one for him was huge. I was definitely digging hard to try to get a win for him.
It certainly was indeed. Well, you not only got a win, but you're taking home a title with it. So with all that all said and done, who you want to thank you for it, sir?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got to thank all the guys at GDR, Brad, Ed, Nick, Jason. You got to thank you for putting the broadcast on. I got to thank the Shake and Bake guys for putting this season on. This was by far the most fun thing I did in iRacing was to do the full season. Had a great group of guys, some really tough cars. And it definitely had put the whole year together to get to be where I am right now, which is pretty cool. I'd also just real quick before we're done here. So Brian is hearing impaired. Traeger, who was in the championship 4 and finished 3rd tonight. So you won't be able to interview him, but I did send him a message and I said, let me know who you want to thank, and I'll make sure I say it on your behalf. So he wants to make sure that Rocky gets a big thank you. And I will echo that because Rocky runs his own great league. I think he gave the Shake and Bake guys a little bit of help getting this off the ground and kind of little help through the season with his league experience. So Brian wants to thank Rocky for the year that he had, and I'll just give Derek and Luke and Brian also a shout out for the championship 4. That was a great group of cars, and they all ran a really nice race tonight.
Well, we honestly didn't even know that about Traeger, but I mean, now that we do, I mean, congrats to him and all he's been able to do this season with what he goes through. And Sheffield, thanks for helping to represent him a little bit too there for this one, DM, man. Congratulations once more on this title, sir.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the championship belongs to Brandon Sheffield, and the ButtKicker Cup Series closes out here today at Phoenix. What a performance and what a race. Thank you to everybody that tuned on in before here again. A big thank you to the ButtKicker Company. Best performance on feeling real tracks the virtual world. Feel what you've been missing with the ButtKickers. And the race fans from all of us here at PTM Racing TV, thanks so much this entire season for coming on board. We can't thank you enough for it all. And we certainly hope you'll join us again, and they do join us again here on PTM Racing TV. For now, though, be safe. God bless. Take care of yourselves out there. See you next time when the green flag flies.